Welcome to the Fight Game with Icewater and Puma. And we're going to start out this show giving our salute to Mills Lane. And we're going to look at his career. And a lot of things that you didn't know about Mills Lane, we're going to tell you about in this show. But I'm going to give it to Ice because Ice had a chance to meet with this man and talk with this man. And I'll give you some of my tidbits on how I felt about Mills Lane. Ice, take over, man.
Yeah. Again, condolences to the family. Mills Lane was just a solid, straight up dude. The thing I liked about Mills Lane is you could tell that he was a no nonsense kind of. He was a easygoing, funny guy, but he stuck to the rules. You could tell everything that he did from in his life. He was just kind of like that, right? He followed the rules. He wanted to make sure that it was fair, it was clean, and I think that's why I enjoyed him as a boxing referee because of the factor that he, even like you mentioned about the being in that Tyson Holyfield biting incident. He was right there, keeping the rules intact, making sure nobody got hurt or anything from the standpoint of illegally or whatever. But that's who he was. He was a stand-up guy. He was really known. He had his own little style. Tough dude. Looked like he probably would fight you in a outdoors if he had to. But just a good dude and a guy that tried to live life the right way. And you enjoy those people when you come across them, particularly when they're professional the way that he was. Just a good dude, like you said, have an opportunity to meet him. And I don't take pictures with a lot of people. I've been around a lot of famous people. I don't go, "Ooh, can I get a picture?" That's not who I am. I don't like that. I think they're people just like me. But when I recognize somebody that's really a good person and solid, somebody I admire, I'll take a picture. So that's why I had that picture of me and Mills Lane. So rest in peace, sir. You know, I was hoping that things would get better for him, but he's an older guy too, and things happen like that again. I was reading something about his son. His son was like, a lot of people thought he had already passed.
Yeah.
He said, "Hell, we didn't think he was gonna last that long."
Right.
So they were like happy to have him, but they also knew the situation. So, but they know a lot of people loved him, Mills Lane. So rest in peace again, sir. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the memories. And it was a blessing to have an opportunity to meet you in person.
Yeah. Every time you saw Mills Lane and he was covering the fight, usually people don't really care who's kind of roughing the fight, but when Mills Lane did it, you knew like this was something special, that he was going to control the fight. He was going to be fair to the combatants, that voice. Let's get it on, and you knew the fight was on after that. But this guy had he was a welterweight southpaw, fought as a southpaw. He was a boxer at one particular point. He had 11 fights, won 10, knocked out 6 folks. And his last fight, he lost his last fight. He used to be on a TV show where he was a judge. And there was an MTV death match where they had a caricature of him. And so he was in popular culture. And I can't think of anybody who didn't like Mills Lane. And you just knew that he was a stand-up guy. And you had a chance to meet him and really kind of prove that. He was in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. And, he was a little guy, but, he was handling those heavyweights and things of that sort. And he commanded respect and got it. And so he never, as far as I can remember, Ice, never interfered with a fight. Never really interfered with a fight. Let the boxers do what they got to do. But he made sure that boxers were safe. And you can't say that about a lot of refs. Sometimes refs were getting away. I'm not going to mention those refs because we're giving honor and tribute to Mills Lane. But what was your most memorable kind of moment, other than taking a picture with the great Mills Lane, that you saw in a boxing match?
Wow. I mean, of course, I'd have to say the Tyson Holyfield fight, but just in general, his demeanor in the ring, because you would see people trying to throw crazy haymakers or try to do something illegal, and he get right in, wait. All right, no, and then it was, you guys, we're not going to have any of that out here. Sometimes I think you heard him cuss a couple times, just kind of let him know he meant business. Yeah. And they respected him. And he's like you said, you can see through the picture. I'm a taller guy, a lot taller than he is, but but then he just get in there like, all right, we're not gonna have that bullshit in here. He let you know.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, okay, all right, Mills, got you, Mr. Lane. but that's how it was. He commanded respect. Little dude that commanded respect in the ring. So that's what I remember of him, just always doing his job and doing it in a professional manner that made it easier for the boxers to do their job.
I know when great legends of boxing pass away, they give them the ring salute. They should do a number of ring salutes for this man right here. Much respect to his career and his life, and prayers and condolences to his family and friends. But he will not be forgotten. He only had a short boxing career, but his career as a ref looms large over any kind of thing that he did. And I was watching something earlier about the celebrity death match when they had Mills Lane in it. For him to be that commanding in the ring and then lend himself to kind of be like a little character in that tells you that he didn't take himself too seriously, but he took his job seriously. He did his job well. And much respect, sir. Peaceful journey. We had a few fights over the weekend. I want to let you decide which fights that you want to talk about this past weekend.
Well, I mean, first of all, we can talk about Tyson Fury because he did fight. So Tyson Fury pummeled, unfortunately, Derek Chisora. It was their third fight. Chisora is a trooper. He gives everything that he has out there. He just doesn't have really, when you face the best right now in heavyweight division, not a lot of people could put up a good fight either. A lot of people said it was easy for Tyson Fury because he wanted to stay active. But yeah, he handled the business. I think he took him down with a 10-round knockout. But
10th round, yes.
They said it was to a point where it probably could have been stopped earlier. It should have been stopped earlier. But Chisora never would like to fall down or anything. So kudos to him. Hopefully he'll walk away and retire now because there's no reason to keep fighting.
Yeah. What was most impressive about Tyson Fury? He looked sharp. These guys seem to be friends. After the fight, Tyson Fury went to the locker room and, was greeting Chisora's children. They had cheeseburgers in the locker room. And he told Chisora, if you need anything, you have my number, call me. So he's a gladiator in the ring, a true gentleman outside the ring. And that impressed me the most. I'm not a Tyson Fury fan, but how he operates and how he really cares about people really impresses me as a fighter and watching it. And when I was watching this particular fight, Ice, I thought it could have been a draw. I really thought it could have been a draw. I was kind of thinking at the end of the fight, it might be a draw to kind of lure these guys on doing this again. It was an action-packed fight, just like the previous two. But your thoughts on this fight, man?
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought about that too. But the one thing that Juan Francisco Estrada did differently, he came out strong first, right? In the previous two fights, he already started slow. Chocolatito would come in and kind of get up a little bit, and then they go back between where they would exchange, but then Estrada would like come back, and then they would kind of go at the end to see who was going to last out in the end and who's going to have the most put out the most punches in the end. And then you had a very close decision. I'm not saying it wasn't close, but I think the one thing that was different about this was Estrada this time was more active. And I think he knew that in the past he would wait and let Chocolatito throw all the punches later on. And then at the end of rounds, he made certain that he did that. And not saying that Chocolatito didn't hit him and didn't punish him, but Estrada was a lot more busier. And because of that, I think that's why I say Estrada won the fight. I think I saw signs of something I always thought would happen anyway, that Chocolatito Gonzalez was slowing down a little bit. You can see the age a little bit, in my opinion, because Estrada, he just kept moving and throwing punches. And I think that's what it was. Now, I'm hoping, I don't know what Chocolatito wants to do. He probably can still fight, but I don't need to see another.
Okay. Because I kind of felt when I was watching the fight, Estrada was kind of backing up a lot and almost kind of inviting Chocolatito in. And it was like, kind of just trying to take the energy away from him. And you could see him kind of just being aggressive. But I could look at this again. I could look at this again. Yeah, I know. He's older. Well, I could see this fight again because I kind of looked at it as a draw, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, but I think you made a solid point there when you mentioned about Estrada was backing up,
Yeah,
but he was backing up, landing punches, which is
yeah,
hard to do.
he was. He
Kind
was.
of like a Floyd Mayweather thing where you drop him backwards, but you go up, 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 up. So you let the guy come forward, but you still fighting well off your back feet. And I think that's what it was. And I love Chocolatito. He's one of my favorites of all time, and I enjoyed him being older and coming back and beating these young guys. But no, man, that's a wrap. I don't need to see that again. They're trying to build it up, and while they can fight tomorrow, and it's gonna be competitive. It's gonna be exciting, right? That's who they are. They give it their all, but it's not Juan Manuel Marquez and Pacquiao. It's not. I think that Estrada shows you that Chocolatito's slowing down a little bit. And I think that's enough for me. I don't want to get hyped up again because I'm not sure if Chocolatito has the stamina or the power to win. So why would I want to see another fight that I think he's already going to lose?
Okay. Now we talked about this a little bit last week. Trout and Charles, they have a fight on Friday on ESPN, and it's for the super welterweight division. Trout has 35 wins, 5 losses, 18 by knockout. Jose Sanchez Charles has 20 wins, 2 losses with 12 knockouts. They're both orthodox. What do you see in this particular fight, and who has the edge?
Well, I think the question is what Austin Trout we're going to get. I mean, he hasn't been in the ring for a while. I think he was trying to, what was he doing? Bare knuckle fighting or something. I mean, he was doing all kind of stuff. So I don't know which guy's gonna come in. I mean, he's always been a formidable opponent if he's in shape and his mind is right. But he's a veteran. He knows what's going on. If he can still throw his hands, I think he might have an upper hand because he's been there before. But then you mentioned about this other Charles is a young man that's only lost twice.
Yes.
He's been around and he understands what's going on. If it doesn't come up where the veteran is using his skill set well, you can see what Charles could get him. Okay. Because they're using that youth and that speed, and you haven't been in the ring in a while, they ain't come to bite you. We've seen it all the times where it seems like time or a certain whatever, lack of preparation, or even time in general, just slows down some of the veterans. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
All right. Next fight is on Saturday. Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin. And Sandor Martin has 39 wins, 2 losses, 13 knockouts. He's a southpaw out of Spain. But he has a lot of experience. And Lopez has 16 fights, 1 loss, 12 knockouts. I got a funny feeling about this one. If Lopez doesn't come in and take this guy seriously, I don't know. I don't know what can happen in this fight. And the only reason I say this is because the last loss I saw Lopez having, it just didn't seem like he was on his game.
Yeah, from what we understand now, and I can see why you can say that. I think you're absolutely right, but I think there's a reason for that because now we're understanding that according to Lopez, he had a lot of stuff going on in his life.
Right.
He was struggling with a lot of demons, a lot of issues in his personal life, and he didn't have the right mindset. But according to him, he's back. He has himself together. He admitted that he had some issues, and now he's ready to fight again. So if that's the case, then I had to go off of believing him and saying if you're right. And I think if he's in the right mindset, even though this guy's a veteran, I think he's going to come in and prove that he's still one of the top fighters again, that is. So with that in mindset, also too, Lopez knows that with some of the other fights that he lost, he cannot afford to have any slip-ups.
Right.
You can get back up to the top. You can get your name back in there with some of the other guys. As he's continuing to move up in 140 right now, I think he has to come in and dominate and win this fight. Because if he was to lose to this gentleman, then it's really going to have people questioning a lot of things. Are you worthy of another big fight? Are you just playing around or whatever? So I think he really wants to come in and put in a very impressive performance so he can continue to have his name, considered amongst some of the best in that area, like 135, 140.
Yeah. The big fight this weekend is Terrence Crawford. He gets back in the ring and of course he's 38-0. His opponent is 29-3. I kind of see this as easy work for him, keeping himself in shape in this particular fight for the big paydays. The only thing I don't like about this with Terrence Crawford is he tends to fight in Nebraska in his hometown. And it tells me if the reason why I say this is because when you look at Devin Haney, his father had him fighting in Mexico, had him fighting all over the world and in rough places where folks weren't going to cheer for him. And so he goes, overseas and beats the guy who lives in his home country twice and don't mind going anywhere at any time to beat anybody. I don't see that for Crawford. He talks a good game, but he likes to fight at home. So I kind of look at this as a tune-up for whoever's going to come out of that Thurman and Earl Spence fight.
No, I agree with you 100%. So, and he's also mentioned made a major point that this is probably going to be one of the bigger paydays, probably maybe the biggest, where he's getting straight, according to him, $10 million for this fight. So, as you mentioned before, he fights at home, he's safe, goes a few rounds, beat this guy down, collect $10 million and wait and see what happens. But you add the money now, and he's trying to be strategically, trying to do this from a strategic manner with business people. So we'll see. So he knows what's on the line. So he wants to fight. He's having a tune-up fight, win the tune-up fight, be impressive, and be prepared to wait.
Okay. Now, this is a peculiar day to have a fight, but the Monster fights on Tuesday, December 13th in Tokyo, Japan. What do you see, or what do you see in the outcome of this against Paul Taylor?
The Monster, I mean, it's Tuesday, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But this is the opportunity for Monster to become undisputed in his division. And that's one of the things that people are trying to talk about. But I think he's going to come out and try to prove what he's capable of. His opponent has his own, accolades. He has belts as well. And this is an opportunity for him to take down the Monster and show the people that he's the real deal also. So the Monster's going to be the Monster. He's going to come in a little slow, and then all of a sudden he's going to, and the question is, can his opponent now deal with that rapid fire attack that's coming at him? So I think that it's going to be a test for the opponent. The Monster, though, what's very interesting with that being said, this fight is going to be, I think, at 118.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about trying to move him up, and maybe Lomachenko trying to drop down to fight him and all that other stuff. But what I'm saying is, if you win this fight, and you mentioned that you want to see that other fight again with Chocolatito, I'd like to see Estrada fight the Monster at 115.
Yeah.
I think that would be a nice fight for both of them.
So, folks, if you haven't seen this guy, I tout him every week. He's the IBF, WBA, WBC, WBO World Bantamweight Champion. And so he is the truth. He is the truth. And he's becoming one of my favorite fighters. And one of the things that when I first started watching him, it was reminiscent of when I first watched Earl Spence. And I'm like, this guy's going to be something special. The Monster is very special. I would not miss this fight. Wherever you can get it, get it. Wink, wink. Any other fights we need to watch out for, or any other news?
Yeah, a lot of stuff is going on. A lot of people talking about things. The one thing that's really crazy, apparently, and I don't know if it's a publicity stunt or whatever, but it sounds like they're trying to keep it true, that Devin Haney's dad was having a conversation online via some whatever, social media, whatever's going on with Shakur Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having this conversation, and the conversation basically broke down to where apparently Haney Sr. said something that Shakur didn't like, and they kept going back and forth talking about, your guy came at me and blah, blah, blah. But what it came down to is Devin Haney was on the call too at some point. He jumped in. And Haney Sr. said that he told Shakur Stevenson that, they want us to fight Lomachenko, but he's not our mandatory. So if you go talk to Bob Arum, we'll fight you next. And then they were back and forth saying something. Shakur said, that's what I've been waiting on. I want that smoke. I want it. So Wise like, well, you know, all you gotta do is go to Bob. And then of course Secure said, well, we can go together. And he's like, no, you need to go. So that's all well and good, and it's nice to talk about it. Excuse me, but I think the problem is going to be that Bob Arum, everybody on the top rank, right? Bob Arum wants to see Vasily Lomachenko get a shot first.
Right.
Because it's almost as if they want Shakur Stevenson to pay his dues. And he's jumping up to 135. He's been at 130 before. Now all of a sudden they don't want him to get the shot with Haney. So I think they would be pushing more for Lomachenko to get the shot and then maybe afterwards. So looking forward to seeing what happens there. We have to stay tuned to that. Tank Davis is fighting coming up sometime soon as well. But like what Tank Davis said, Tank Davis talking to him, and you know, he gets in his feelings sometimes and come out really tough. Tank Davis said he's thinking about trying to get out the game soon. Not sure when, but he said before he goes, he wants to fight Ryan Garcia, he wants to fight Devin Haney, and he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson. Said he want to clear all that up because he's tired of people talking, and he wants to get,
right,
he wants to get that together. So he talked about that as well. Of course, Fury said he's going to need elbow surgery, but the way it's going, they're trying to set it up where Alexander Usyk will get the fight next. He was at the fight, and I think it's time. I think you might actually see that fight between them. And then now, of course, Deontay Wilder's come out. Of course, everybody thinks he's been a mandatory against Ortiz, but Wilder's come out and says he won't fight Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, that fight needs to happen. It needs to happen. I don't care how they get it done. It needs to happen. And Usyk, they're asking him, you know, about Fury. Like, nobody's scared of Fury. I ain't scared of him. Let's go. So he's a. I'm not even going to call him a cruiserweight anymore. He's a heavyweight. He's a legit heavyweight, and he's something. He's something special to reckon with.
He is. But I guess the one thing for me though is the power.
Yeah.
Has he ever really been hit by a true heavyweight?
Yeah, that's true.
Has he been? I mean, because Anthony Joshua couldn't hit him.
Right.
So you think about the power that Fury has, and then do you think you want to fight Wilder?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Fury said. He said everybody talking about Wilder is not this and that. He says, but it's not. It takes a hell of a man to take that man's punch.
Yeah.
and get up and stand. And he said, I know this because nobody. He said, y'all talk what you want to, but I don't know anybody in here that can take that pounding like he did.
And Anthony Joshua needs to learn how to fight softballs. Just an observation. He's Icewater, I'm Puma, and this is the Fight Game.